Hello everyone and welcome back to the Spearhead cast. With me, Matt. We have a 2-2 for you all here on Minsk Pocket on the Eastern Front. Let's go through the players. Represent the Soviet Union today. We have Kikyung without a command choice yet. And Serenity, also without a command choice yet. I imagine they'll pick their commanders shortly, because they both are going for rifle command and conscript at the same time. Trying to secure some ground. Represent the Germans today. We have Nico as Panzerjäger Tactics for die Waffen-SS. And Frederick Norheim as Jäger Tactics for the Waffen-SS. This should be interesting. It looks like Frederick is going for double SS Fallschirm Pioneer, so they're gonna be relying more on their unique infantry for the Jäger side, which is cool. You have the first shots fire here between the Sturm Pioneers and some Sappers. Sappers are gonna try and secure some cover, but they cannot take the point while they're doing that. You know, command charge yet for the Soviets. It looks like they're just waiting a little bit before they decide. You know, the Germans have secured some territory. It's cool we see the SS Fallschirmjäger. I rarely see people actually use these guys. They're a cheaper infantry you can get if you're playing as SS Jäger. You also get the SS Jägers later on, I believe, which are an interesting unit that I also rarely see people use. You have a lot of variety if you play Jäger, as an example, when it comes to infantry. Conscripts heading up here. We also have some Fantoviki on the field. So the Soviets also going for some more professional troops. At least one of the Soviets are. Conscript's gonna try and see if they can run the Sturm Pioneer, which is not gonna be easy to do, especially not if they have Sturm Grenadier support here. So Nico's just going for basic Sturm Grenadiers. Sturm Grenadiers can get Sturmgewehrs if you're playing as Panzerjäger, so it's generally a good choice. Looks like the Sturm Pioneers were pushed back up here. Fallschirm Pioneers are getting behind power positions. Firefight continues down here with the Sturm Grenadiers holding their best. Need to keep an eye on the minimap from there when engagements begin elsewhere. There's going to be a lot of stuff to watch. Oh, conscript goes down! Good targeting there from the Sturm Grenadiers. Sturm Grenadiers are pretty good infantry, as you can see. Mowing down another conscript in seconds. Level up here looks like the Kubelwagen with Fallschirm Pioneers are pushing back the Soviets. Let's get behind cover though. We also have another Sturm Grenadier arriving. Oh, one Sturm Grenadier did go down though to the Sappers. And Sappers I think are actually doing pretty decently because their squad has a pistol, but once the Sturmgewehr starts firing in, they're gonna... Oh, they move! Oh, grenade! I don't think the Sturmgrenadiers want to take that fight now when they're only 2 man. Because the Soviets are actually doing pretty well behind heavy cover here of the truck. Only one guy left with a Sturmgewehr. Throwing a fragmentation grenade. Will that be enough to save him? Looks like it is, and he actually kills the Sappers! Oh, that's a huge loss for the Soviet Union. Only have one Fantoviki left, and looks like they have gone for rifle command. Ooh. And Serenity has gone for shock command. Okay. The Soviets have gone for rifle and shock. That should be interesting. Against Panzerjäger and Jäger. Some interesting commanders. We need to see how that turns out for them in the future of this fight. One lone Sturm Grenadier is trying to secure the point now. They'll be able to do it, and then he has to fall back immediately, I think. Trying to make a run for it. Kubelwagen opens up. Oh, I think that Sturm Grenadier should just have kept running. He's being very risky here, but looks like he will succeed thanks to the Kubelwagen. Laying down some suppressor fire. Sturm Pioneer is also securing a point before they retreat. So they're getting the most out of it before they retreat back to heal up by looks of it. We also have some SS Grenadiers coming in now, a cheaper infantry you can get. We are playing as Panzerjäger. A machine gun coming up here for the Panzerjägers. That's an MD-34 by looks of it. No real movement from the Soviets here. It looks like they're gonna go for the sender. I want to try and cut off the German fuel. These SS Grenadiers are definitely gonna be overrun if they don't get any support. Fantoviki is getting very close here. Grenade though, very good grenade at that. Very, very good grenade at that from those Grenadiers. But now the Fantoviki are close. Gonna take out those Grenadiers. Conscript's also pushing up towards the Kubelwagen. We have some more SS Grenadiers arriving, and we have some Sturm Pioneers moving to flank. Doing a grenade assault. One of those Fantoviki. Fantoviki running away immediately. I don't think those conscripts want to stay around anymore. Lots of firefights going on here. We do have a Dushka machine gun coming up here for the shock army. Fallschirm Pioneers also lining up back here. Grenade inside the building. Oh, we have a lieutenant infiltrated here from a building. Need to get inside quick. The service do have some extra rifles to work with. But these Kubelwagners are laying down a lot of fire on the building. Dushka setting up over here, evidently, which I don't think really did much yet. That was making a move here, but there's a machine gun. It's just not pointing towards the munitions point yet.
Enemy infantry.
MG34 is relocating, or at least turning around. Being very cheap. Oh, mine! That's a barbed wire. I thought it would be a mine. But barbed wire will work too. That's another MG34 rhyming here. So we have double MG34 for the Jäger tactics. To try and hold down that part of the map. Soviets are going for fortified outpost. Or fortified position, rather. Because they want to fight there in eagerness. Second Dushka arriving here for the shock army. We have a smoke grenade pop there to take the munitions point. So it's popping inside the fortified position. We have an MG42 here handed out to the Storm Grenadier. They can lay down some suppressor fire. Yeah, Soviet Lieutenant is definitely not having the easiest time there. Soviet still need to capture the points here. They're definitely having a resource issue compared to the Germans. For now. It looks like the SS Jägers are just sticking in the center. Goes with Dushka arriving here. Which I don't think that Sturm Grenadier wants to fight. Great Assault going in towards the fortified position. Which I don't think will do much to it. The Dushka could take out the Kuhlwagen in seconds. He just needs to get close enough without being suppressed. We also have another Maxim, the Gorianova, arriving here for the rifle commander. The more upgraded version of the machine gun, and I think it's air-cooled compared to water-cooled. The previous Maxim machine gun. I think only certain Soviet commanders can get it. I think rifle's one of them. This one over here. The Pulemet Systemi Gorianova. I'm not good at the name of this. I actually barely see this weapon, so I don't know much about it. Grenade coming out here from the SS Grenadier. Sturmheini is trying to flank, but there are some Soviets keeping an eye on it. So the Sturmheini is going to push back quickly. Kuhlwagen opening fire. That Dushka needs to set up quick. He will set up and start taking shots at the Kuhlwagen. Forcing the Kuhlwagen back. Auto machine gun sitting up here. Oh, we have the rifle grenade launcher here on the Fashion Pioneers. Definitely a good weapon for them. And one of the few weapons they can get that is very unique. Basically, it's a German Panzerbüchse that's been modified to fire rifle grenades. It's firing grenades on its own, basically. Pretty good sometimes, and it's very good for indirect fire. Oh, so it's pushing up great going into the smoke, though. Lots of smoke shells going in. Yo, the Soviets are making good use of it. Getting too close here, though. Against the MG42. Like, they are fun to Viki, but now they've been suppressed. And they cannot do much when they're suppressed. They're gonna try and throw a Molotov. Oh, on the Kuhlwagen! I did not see that coming. And it doesn't seem to do anything to it, but injure the driver. There we go, there we go. Thanks to the machine gun, it did something. But I think the Molotov should be more powerful against vehicles, especially light vehicles, personally. And that's just my opinion. Oh, flamethrower for the Soviets now, pretty good. Pushing back the SS Grenadiers, but we do have the Fashion Pioneers on the flank. Providing a lot of support fire with those Granatbüchse. More and more Fontoviki arriving. We also have some rifle guards. Unique elite unit available to Soviet rifle. You can only have one of them in the field at a time, though, I believe. We also have some shock troopers on the field here. Probably the most expensive basic infantry, I believe, at 400. Yes, 400 manpower for the squad. But they're generally very worth it. They can do a lot of work for you. Problem is, they're not going to have an easy time getting up on a hidden machine gun. Dushka holding down the center. Going to pushing up aggressively for the munitions points. They might be able to take it this time. Gonna setting up with an MT42. That's a lot of firepower. It is firing at long range though. Oh, we have some Panzer Grenadiers down here being hit very hard by the machine gun. Will they get out of there? They do not! Ooh, that's a big cost there for the Panzerjäger tactics. More Dushkas coming up. So have tried to be... Oh, they actually managed to kill some Fallschirm Pioneers and the one of the Granatbüchses. They actually killed both of them. That's going to be a useful weapon to have in their hands. Means that von Sophie can provide some long-range fire support. Means that machine gun is in a pretty good spot. For now. Need to just drink some water. It's very hot in Europe at the moment. You probably heard again. More smoke artillery going in. It's good to see people use smoke artillery. It's cheap and can allow you to get close. That's actually going to force the Germans to pull back. Realizing what's going to happen. There's an MT42 in the ground that the Soviets could steal. Throwing a Molotov. Ah, they still think the machine gun is there. The Baldeladung going into the smoke. But the Germans were smart enough to pull back there. Let's see. Soviets have set up here with their Granatbüchse, but there's only 3 men. They will not hold for long. That's it, a machine gun moving up. There's also a mortar here for the Waffen. There's actually double mortar. Montevideo got mowed down. Machine gun trying to set up, but there's also a bunker and an MG42 clearing out the machine gun. Rifle guards are pushing up a little bit too far, I think. They decided to pull back afterwards. Meanwhile, we have the shock troopers trying to push up through this side. They managed to take out the Kubelwagen. But there's a half-track coming up now with Flammenwerfers inside. However, they are dealing with Dushkas, and Dushkas could be able to kill it. There's also a Sis nearby. Kubelwagen gets destroyed by a mortar shell. We have SS Fallschirmjägers coming onto the field. Some very elite infantry for the Waffen SS. So it's gonna try and push for the center again. There's not a lot of German stuff to cover the center at the moment, so might potentially be a good idea. This half-track is gonna get up on the Soviet flank. It's gonna attempt to be anyway. And they are dealing with some shock troopers here who have no anti-tank capabilities. This half-track could kill them pretty easily. Mortar shell's going to watch that Dushka. And those stormtroopers, shock troopers want to get out of there. That's an expensive squad to lose like this. Yeah, that's 400 manpower down the drain. There's a T-60 though. And more shock troopers showing up. There are machine guns that could cover it. War fighting going on here with the Grenadiers against the conscripts. But there's our T-70 on the hunt. And there's a lack of German AT up here. Oh, and the half-track knows. Half-track knows there's a T-70 after it. But the Fallschirmjägers are nearby. Oh, but Siskan got a shot at the half-track. T-70 has to back off. I just need to take out those machine guns. Oh, they throw a grenade out the hatch. That's right, I forgot that the T-70 can do that. Instant grenade going on the Fallschirmjägers, almost killing them. And now the shock troopers putting a lot of hurt in. Doing a lot of work with their SVTs. But they arrive with SVTs rather than the hosted Nagants. And now there's a lack of stuff to stop the T-70. So it's still holding on down here. They got a heavy mortar. Storm Pioneers with an MT42 they grabbed off the ground. We also have some stormtroopers here. With an MT34 they could grab off the ground. And looks like they are. That'll certainly help them. T-70 now pushing up. There is a pack now. Takes out the C-70, but they do manage to throw a grenade out the hatch. That's actually an opening the shock troopers were waiting for. Very risky push here, but the shock troopers are pretty good. That's a lot of FT-42s though, which I don't think the shock troopers want to take. They're gonna throw a smoke grenade. Dushka setting up, but it has been suppressed. Looks like the shock troopers will make it though. Not sure if the Dushka will. Dushka just lost one of the people pulling the machine gun. Yeah, he won't make it.
We have lost a machine gun crew.
Forward outpost taken out down here. Stormtroopers now with the MG44 is probably going to be pretty good at medium to long range. Well, yeah, the Fallschirmjägers are standing around with the FT-42s. Soviets are laying down some medical supplies. They can heal up rapidly. That's just a medic that's set up. Not just spawns 3 crates apparently.
Partisans ready.
Certainly helped the Soviets heal up, but you could just have gotten the medic upgrade, I think. Fairly cheap. Not sure how much medics actually cost for the Soviets. I actually cannot see medics here at all.
We are ready for anything.
You do have a T-34-76 coming up for the Shock Army, which will certainly help.
This is what they trained for.
No armor arriving yet for the Waffen-SS. Sturmgewehrs being handed out to the Stormtroopers.
For mechanized units will be
We'll have an MG-34 with some Sturmgewehrs, so that's a lot of good firepower in one squad. They're a little bit of a quiet now before the storm. The battle has somewhat toned down. The side wants to make the next move yet.
ready. Unit ready.
So we do have a takeoff for heavy armor for the Jaeger tactics, which means they can get the Panther. T-34-76 has arrived though. Let's see if the Shock Army can make good use of it. Because that will always be one of the more important things. We also have a heavy mortar running here for the Shock Army, which I believe Rifle also has. Yep, both Shock Army and Shock can get the heavy mortar, which is a very potent weapon in a long game. Currently it's on counter barrage though, obviously with the German mortar. Shots are being fired up here. Sturmpioneers are taking a lot of shots from the shock troopers. Sabba's trying to grab the Dushka. They managed to do it.
Fear propaganda can once again be
Yeah, and those Sturmpioneers don't want that fight at all. T-34 strike through the center. Fallschirmjägers are winning an ambush though, being very smart. Yeah, he has no idea there's some Fallschirmjägers waiting. Panzerfaust is going off. Very good ambush there from the Germans. Thomas is going behind the sandbags here and opening up. And those conscripts are going to get mowed down, as you can see. Once the MG34 and the Sturmgewehrs opened up, the conscripts just died.
to arms.
But the heavy mortars now starting to lay down some fire. Actually, it was this one that did it. Artillery also going out from the Cis guns. It will be expensive for the Soviets to keep up these barrages, though. Because 30 munitions per shot. Even the Germans have the munitions advantage as they hold both munitions points. You have a Pack 40 arriving here for the Panzerjägers. Certainly help.
Squad at the ready.
You have a T70 coming up for the Rifle Commander.
We are ready for anything. AT gun here.
Ah, we're seeing the Soviets now getting munitions caches. They actually have had that one for a bit. They might build another one. Because I believe the Soviets have probably realized they need to get more munitions. They want to keep up this fight. 70 arriving now. German mortars on counter barrage is firing. Heavy mortar now on counter barrage. Let's see if we'll hit anything. A little bit of a side shot. We also have a mortar here for the Jaegers deciding to pull back. We're hitting this little medic station. Okay. Heavy mortar did some damage there to the German mortar. The 70 now got a little bit of a position here. Looks like it's being ordered to ambush here. No, it's moving. Realizing it doesn't want to stay there with stormtroopers nearby who have Panzerfaust, which they normally don't have. They have Panzerfaust if you're playing as a Panzerjäger, which can make the stormtroopers pretty damn good at dealing with vehicles too. Oh, they got pinned! Oh, just by a shrapnel shot there. That is very unfortunate for the stormtroopers. They also dropped the MT-44. D70 driving up now. We do have some troops going up here with a Panzerfaust. Mthis Grenadiers. But the D70 gets out of sight. They cannot grab the other MG-44 though. Because they only have one weapon slot. Throwing a Gebalderladung. Doesn't do anything because it's too far away. Have a little bit of a mortar engagement going on now. An 8-6 min hit. We do have a Panzer strike here. But T-70 can just use the terrain there to its advantage to not be hit by anything. At least for now. Shock troopers are moving this way though. Oh, T-70 is getting a little bit close here. Panzer strike missed again. They did throw a grenade out the hatch. Killed one of the people. Shock troopers are going to try and push for the sender. There's a minefield here though. SS Fallschirmjäger moving up. They now have Sturmgewehr as well. One has an MG-42. The Gebalderladung kills some of the shock troopers. Yeah, I don't think the shock troopers want that fight at the moment. D70 moving up. There's a pack somewhere, but it's up there. D70 has to back off before it gets Panzerfausted. You have a KV-1 coming out. There's also a Hetz on the fields. That can take out the T-70. It misses though. Misses again. The T-70 is a small target. Oh, hit but bounced. T-70 has pretty decent frontal armor for being a light tank, I believe. Stormtroopers are gonna try and grab that MG-44 again. There we go, got that machine gun again. Untersuchungsführer now being called onto the battlefield for the Jaegers, so we are getting some officers for the Waffen-SS. No officer for the shock army, just an officer for the rifle command.
Listen up, men.
Heavy mortars are starting to shell out. Oh, there's double heavy mortars now for the Soviets. That's very costly. But they have the munitions to keep that up. Not using flares. Do note, flares do not reveal infiltrated units anymore. That's an important thing to note. Fallschirmjäger's ready to move out again. This is taking some shots in the center though. Machine gun opens up on the Dushka. Yeah, not really working the best there. Heavy mortar shells are trying to land around the machine guns though. Shock troopers are moving up. Fallschirmjäger's moving through the center now that they have a chance. But there's a Dushka placement. Artillery being called in on it, I think. Fallschirmjäger's getting close. The artillery's going in around the Sis. Grenades, but the shock troopers dodged them. Artillery takes out the Sis gun, at least the crew of it. And we do have the KV-1 preparing to move up down here. I think the Germans don't have a lot to deal with a KV-1. They do have the pack, but it's not a KV-1E yet. If this thing would become a KV-1E, it would be very hard for the Germans to deal with. But currently, as stated, it's not. So I think the Germans can probably deal with it pretty reliably. This with the heads and the pack. Then we're going in around this building. High explosive loaded. Kills the officer. Oh! That's a huge loss there for the Waffen SS. You also have a sniper team arriving here alongside the recon team. It's actually two different teams. The recon is obviously recon, and the sniper team is a sniper. And it heads got a penetration there. I think if the sniper creeps up just a little bit, it can actually start shooting at that MG42. Shock troopers moving up here. Fallschirmjägers on the flank. Trying to take out the heavy mortars. Shock troopers getting away from the Imonka grenades, which are instant. But they have to pull back. I think the heavy mortars have to pull back too. They have to act quick because the Fallschirmjägers and the Unsturmführer is going after them. Duschka setting up. Getting some good shots in on that officer. Smoke grenade in the way though. As that's a blink harbor. Still same effect. Gets us trying to lead the way against this KV-1. So far working well. Got another penetration on the KV. Civilian landing here. KV-1 is stuck. Building a smoke round, I think. Yep, very smart. It's gonna buy them some necessary time. This guy is still trying to do its best. Heavy mortars are still operational. They just need to get healed up. We do have T-45 coming out for the Shock Army. Nothing else for the Soviets. Germans are getting a Panzer IV J. No armor yet for the Jägers. They do have an SS Aufklar on the field. One of the unique Jäger Aufklars, the 600. 3-man ace team. They lost one of their members somewhere. They've been equipped with an MG42 evidently. Just trying to get up here on the Hauptmann. Actually, this is a Hauptsturmführer. I need to remember this is the Waffen SS, not the German army. They have different leader titles. Shock troops moving up to the front line. Still no unique weapons equipped on him. Probably focused too much on all the artillery. And Limonka. Good Limonka grade! Holy shit! That was a lot of work! Like, shock troopers are great, but that's a lot of artillery coming their way.
We have lost the defensive structure.
They lost the Duschka emplacement. And Duschka's being hit by a lot of artillery, but looks like it will survive.
Squad, shut it. We are receiving new orders.
Half-class are gonna try and take out this bunker, I imagine. Panzerfausting it. Need to shoot it a bit more to kill the gunner. Like that. There we go. Good job with the MG42 there. So with sniper, I actually managed to get some shots out here. It's very hard to see people use snipers because they're a little bit harder to use in Spearhead, I feel, and very few commanders get actual snipers. Smoke shells going in. Wonder what for? Might have been German smoke shields actually. Half-class securing the northern flank now that they took out the Duschka emplacement. They are getting a Panther. So the Germans are definitely getting a little bit of some heavier gear. But triple shock troopers coming towards those Half-class. I know they're ace training, but there's literally only 2 of them. There's no way they can fight this many shock troopers. Yeah, they lost one guy there. That's a lot of SVT fire coming their way. Okay, trying to obscure the retreat. Too late though. And that was a normal grenade. But they died anyway. Now the Soviets could steal that MG42. Heavy mortar took some big shots there, but you only need one man to through a heavy mortar for some reason. You can still retreat with it safely. We now have a shock trooper with an MG42. That's a pretty big boon for this squad. Here's the Panther though. That's definitely going to give the Germans a little bit of an edge in armor. Nico is floating a lot of manpower at the moment. And Nico could certainly get some more stuff on the field here. Question is just what? Or build some caches. Like, if you're floating manpower and don't know what to get, at least you can build some caches if there's no... If all the figs aren't filled yet. Because that can give your team an edge in supplies. I personally float a lot myself sometimes because I just forget what to get. Oh, that's an 100mm AT gun from the Soviet Union. That's a dead head if it gets spotted. Oh, mortar hit straight on it. It's still operational though. .100mm AT gun. And now artillery strikes going in, clearing up one of the German mortars. And clearing up some mines too, by the looks of it. You have the 85 up here, but that's against the Panther. Frontally, I think the 85 cannot beat the Panther, but on the flank or the rear, the 85 definitely will win quickly, thanks to its 85mm gun. Oh, it's gonna try and go for it. No penetration. Touches out. Oh, Panther does get a penetration there. We also have some stormtroopers here armed entirely with Sturmgewehrs. Panther's on the hunt. Activating Blitzkrieg. And that shock trooper's definitely dead. Yep.
A squad of infantry has been killed.
More caches has been built by the Soviet Union. Keep before pulling back quickly for some repairs. 3 assist guns being manned here to point in the direction of the Panther. Yeah, quite afraid of the Panther. Oh! Quite afraid of the Panther, but the Soviets are now getting a B4, so I think they're gonna teach the Germans to be afraid soon. Because the B4 is a very good piece of equipment. Stalin's Sledgehammer, I believe, is the nickname. Grenade on the shock troopers. Force them off. Oh, mine! But it's not gonna dissuade them. Oh, there's another mine there. Yeah, the Soviets have lit a fair few mines, evidently. This gun starts setting up. They know where the Panther is. There's also another normal Aufklar in the field. Shock troopers more in the way here. Armored SVTs. Oh, Flammenwerfer getting close though. Great assault. Well, looks like the crew of the Cisco might be enough. 85 is ready to fight again. E4 is operational. Takes a lot of munitions to fire this thing though. The Soviets just lack munitions at the moment. Like, the Germans basically have almost double the... Actually, they have more than double the munitions income. Soviets are actually running very low on munitions. That's why I set up some munitions cache as well on the fire. But the need is to try and get one of those points somehow. Several German mortars have been called in. Okay. So they're going for a big mortar fight. But against the heavy mortar and counter barrage, that's not easy. Panther fighting up here. We do have a Jagdpanzer on the field here for the Panzerjägers. That'll definitely help against any KV-1s or KV-1Es that might show up. Still the same KV-1 on the field here. Lots of mortar shells going in from both sides. Just a lot of artillery shells going in right now. Ostwind in the center. Looks like the T-34 took a hit from something. Excuse me. This took out the gunner of the Ostwind. Gunners, rather. Everyone on the move. And here we have the shock troopers again moving up. One of them with the stolen MG42. That's a lot of semi-automatic firepower right here. And the Germans don't have any cover. So I think it means the Germans basically lose that fight. Ooh, and now they're suppressed because of a heavy mortar shell too. Yeah, the Germans have to pull back. Shock troopers just advancing. They do still have a machine gun though. Throwing smoke grenades. Cover the advance. Panther's relocating here with a high explosive shell. Doesn't hit. Once the smoke clears, though, those shock troops might be in trouble. They don't have the munitions for a Limonka grenade. Now the MT-44 is gonna rip into them. There we go. Limonka grenade going off. Doesn't do enough damage. That might be that shock trooper. Yep, it's down. Oh, Panther got penetrated and immobilized. That's certainly something the Soviets are glad to have. Means the T-44 could flank that Panther at some point if they can prepare it before the Panther. They can just drive up here and get around. Then Corbo in the way. And they're gonna storm this Sis gun with the Sturmgewehrs. Oh, they took out the Panther! Good job, Sis gun! I suppose it can happen. More shock troopers are being prepared behind us. He looks like the P4 has not fired yet. It's currently on counter barrage, actually. Means it might fire soon. Does cost something. Fire, I think. If it fires at some point. Hard to say. We'll do another 100mm going up in the center. So the Soviets are tightening the fortified position. We have another Panther coming up for the Jaegers. 3 Panzer IV Js have been prepared by the Panzer Jaegers. Looks like they're preparing for some kind of push at some point. But with that 100mm set up, that will certainly make this a lot more difficult. Because this can just chew through German tanks. Really easily, too. Players going over the battlefields. You can see the Soviets are relocating some of their sappers around. Halfsturmführer is going to try and call in an artillery strike. Probably around the 100mm. But decide to cancel it because of the flamethrower. I don't think the B4 is fired yet. Stormtroopers going up on the flank there for the Waffen-SS. And we have another bunker going up here for the Soviets as well. Maybe more is doing their best here. Doing some close range firefights actually. And spending a lot of their munitions on it. And the B4 doesn't have the munitions to fire. Now, counter barrage only works now if you have enough munitions for it. And I think a B4 shot is just way too costly at the moment. On heavy mortar to get taken out entirely. And the Soviets need more munitions, but it's gonna be very hard for them to do that. It looks like the Germans are gonna do their armored push on the northern flank, where the 100mm gun is not pointed. Lots of German armor on the move. And Panther got a good high explosive. They almost killed the Drishka team. Give another team. That's a KV-2 actually. Okay, so the shock actually went straight for a KV-2. Should be interesting to see if that'll have any effect. There's still some Soviet mines around. Germans have minesweepers. They do have minesweepers on one, but that's not gonna be anywhere near the tanks. Ooh. That was a mine. And that's gonna slow down the Germans attempting an advance for a bit.
Transmission failure! Transmission failure!
Because now they have to repair that Panzer IV J. And he also needs to make sure that there are no more mines. As you can see, mines can actually really become an issue. Especially if you're not prepared for them. But the Soviets also know there's something going on over there.
Officer is awaiting orders.
Like we have several conscripts being prepared in reserve here. AB2 and T-45 turning around. Then to face whatever's coming. Now the 85 will beat the Panzer IV Js generally. It's 85mm gun, but the Panther is here to provide some fire support. No penetration there. KB2 fires, doesn't do much. Artillery going in here. Now the KB2 has to fight off all this on its own, potentially. The Arctic are coming onto the field soon, so the Germans are bringing a lot of the big guns in. Panzer IV is getting close. The KB2 has no sight on its own, really. It needs some troops to spot for it. Very close there. Takes up one of the Panzer IVs with a very huge shell. But the Panzer IV decides to not push up further for now. Actually, it is trying to push. I say that's a little bit of a risky maneuver.
A sector has been cut off.
Artillery going in the center here.
We have lost a machine gun crew.
85 covers the KB2. But the Stormtroopers are trying to push up here. There's a KB1 though to help block them off. And the KB2 takes a shot. Stormtroopers have to pull back. Looks like both squads do survive though, just with one guy each. They will be able to return to fighting condition. Looks like a Pan Force got taken out, probably by the 100mm. Yeah, that was definitely the 100mm. Germans getting another Panther. And so the recon team is just keeping an eye on the German front line here. So the KV gang is preparing to move up somewhat. Doctor was going to support the KV2. There's a lack of things to fight the KV2 up here at the moment. But the Jagdtiger has hit the front line. Need to see if that can do anything. E-45 is ready for fight again. Been fully repaired quickly by all the sappers. KB2 just driving around. Going to take a shot somewhere. Trying to fire up here. Hack took a shot but didn't penetrate.
The enemy is trying to destroy a structure.
Yeah, the KV2 only have a 900 frontal armor rating. It's not that impressive at this point in the war, in all honesty. So you do need to be cautious with the KV2. It's not as armored as you'd think. Shock troopers are still keeping the German infantry at bay, but now here comes all the Sturmgewehrs. Which even the shock troopers are not prepared for. They don't have that PPSHs. There's no way they can win an automatic fight. E-45 moving towards the center, I think, to cover up. Ostwind still in some repairs. Panther on the move. KB2 takes out the pack. KB2 is pretty good at doing that, at least. It's still bugged though, where its explosions don't actually give it kills, so it doesn't actually get veterans here as easily. Which seems a little bit off, but what you do? I'm not sure how hard it is to code the explosion stuff. Trying to take aim towards the stormtroopers. The sights against the recon team. It's like a waste of a 152mm shell. Overkill much? Very, very overkill. Minefield there. Pans can still get into the point though. But it gets pinned by the Panther. They get pinned by the Panther. There's no minesweep on these guys, but they do grab the assists. Ooh, Panther penetrate the KV. Just taking a shot and misses. No penetration this time. The Germans still have the upper hand territory-wise, I feel. Not a 100mm going up, so I think that the Russians can cover all angles now with 100mm guns. We also have a 152mm howitzer for the shock army. Which is cheaper to... No, it's not cheaper to fight in the K4. No, it's not. Huh. Oh, the B4, I don't think has fired yet. Not that we can see its skills, I think. Oh, B4 is fine. Oh, hit around here. Just a single shot, it looks like. Might be wrong. Oh, they're taking another shot. They want to try and take out that Dark Tiger. Actually, there was only one shot by the looks of it. Yeah, the 152 is the one that's still firing. Germans had to get into like full munitions because they have nothing they can use munitions on by their normal mortars. Jagdtiger has to pull back. It doesn't have a lot of anti-infantry capabilities. But neither does the Shock Troopers have any AT. They do have good SVTs though against all the infantry, but they have to pull back. There's too much in the way here. Also, they're definitely doing some work here, but it doesn't count their kills. We also have another 100mm gun here, which I don't actually think the Jagdtiger wants to fight. Doesn't penetrate. No, wait, never mind. That penetrated pretty handily. High explosive did go off though, but that might be trouble though. Now it's stuck. There's two 100mm guns pointed at it. Need one more shot to penetrate. Oh, it manages to get away barely. That's lucky. Needs to be very cautious around those 100mm guns. There's also a T-70 still in the field. That's impressive. They're sitting as like a backline at the moment. I think it was the KV-2 that did that to itself and the people around it. But the Soviets definitely feel like there's someone on the back foot. But they're holding on, and B4 is firing again. This is the full barrage. Aiming around here, evidently. Just trying to deny ground to the German advance.
Sniper has arrived.
So the Soviets are pretty good at attrition play, so they might be able to turn this around if they just keep on attritioning. The Germans just have so much resources built up. Jagdpanzer arriving as well. Another B4 shot coming in. Hitting him straight in the point. Now, I found them at close to pocket though. If that one got decaptured by a B4 shot, they go close to pocket, but it wouldn't kill that much, but it would be something, I guess. Looks like the Stormtroopers tried to push up here, but there was a Maxim, not a Maxim, it's just a machine gun point that way. The rifle guards just remain here on defensive duty. We also have a sniper in the center now. Doing her best with a sniper rifle. She could actually get a second sniper rifle now. But they might be going for Veterancy 3 for that scoped SVT instead. She's doing a pretty decent job with her spotter as well. The guy in the center is shooting in the Germans. Ooh, machine gun up here just cut down the sappers. T-45 on the move. KV-1 is on the move. It could become a KV-1E. Wait for the T-44 to move first. Oh yeah, minefield's still there. I don't think the MT-42 wants that fight now. Building a high explosive shell. Undershoots though, hitting the hill. Decides to back off instead, evidently.
The enemy is trying to destroy a structure.
Lots of shells going around from either side at the moment.
Ready to deploy.
Jagdtiger's moving to the other flank, evidently. Double Boider Panzer Sherman's coming in now. Need to see if that can help the Germans in some capacity. Not sure if the Germans use the Boider Panzer Germans on the Eastern Front. I know they did on the Western, but I'm not sure they used the Germans there. Oh, cheeky little recon team. Taking the munitions point. But MG42 just opens up on them. After the Aufklar move up there to spot them.
Infantry have made the ultimate sacrifice. What is it? Mine detectors have arrived.
So it's going to try and take the point again finally, now that they have another minesweeper. Grabbing the rocks flamethrower as well. Yeah, that didn't do much, KB2. You just hit some dirt. Boy, the Panzers are prepared to make a move. But the Boy, the Panzers will not do much against the 100mm AT gun.
Standing by. Sniper now.
Heavy mortar still in the counter barrage here. Another recon team arriving here for the Soviet Union. Second Panther for the Waffen's Panzer.
Prepared for action.
Jagdtiger moving up. Also need to be cautious because that 100mm gun is wasting its shells on infantry, even though it's been ordered to prioritize vehicles. So it looks like there might be a bug of some kind. Jagdtiger moving up. It's been spotted. 108mm guns taking a shot, doesn't penetrate. It is very hard to pierce the front of a Jagdtiger. It's the most heavily armored vehicle in the game, I'm pretty sure. Take another shot, didn't penetrate. Still did some deflection damage, as you can see. Still because of how high the caliber is. Because the higher the caliber, you will still do damage if you don't penetrate. Boy, the Panzers are almost geared up for fighting. Doing their best to keep this AT gun fully manned thanks to the conscripts just merging in. Here comes an armored push. One Sherman taken out there. Reloading the AT gun. Oh, Panzer 48 managed to get through. They did take out the other Sherman though. That's a lack of AT grenades. They don't have the munitions for them. Now this Panzer 48 still is causing trouble. Oh, and the AT gun has been cleared. But KB1 moving up now. And T-70 to shoot in the rear. Doesn't penetrate. There we go, a little bit of a penetration. Panzer 4 down, Jagdtiger moving up. A lot of AT on it. That might be a dead KV, yep. KV1 taken out. 100mm AT gun recruit. Jagdtiger pulling back. The fighting continues, going a little bit back and forth. But looks like while all this was going on, I missed the shock troopers overrunning the other flank, giving the Soviets access to a munitions point. Not looking good for the Waffen-SS up here at this point suddenly, but do have double Panther. T-45 here, gonna fight against the Panther, not a good fight for it. Never mind, it penetrated. If the 85 penetrates, it will do a lot of damage, so that's a thing. The 100mm AT gun still holding up the front line. MG42 here stolen. That's an MG34 actually. Stolen by the shock troopers. This is an MG42. Let's see. Austin holding up there. Jagdtiger being repaired over where? Down here. Oh boy, the Panzer's coming out. So the Germans now going to move up to threaten the 100mm AT gun again. More conscripts to the front line merging in, good to see. They want to keep it crude, and the conscripts are good for doing that. Just merge them in. Oh, there's also a truck back here they can be enforced from. Very cheeky. That's actually a very smart thing, but it's not close enough just to the AT gun yet. But all the mortar shells are landing rapidly. Austin moving up here. Austin's going to take shots in. I think the Soviets cannot hold this position much longer. Rifle guards coming up. Austin got taken out though. Panzer's gonna merge with the 100mm. They can actually reinforce from there if they wanted. I believe these guys are close enough to reinforce now shortly too. Apparently not. Unless the button just doesn't show here for me. 100mm gun is having trouble now. Especially with all those mortar shells. Looks like the stormtroopers push up here. So it's still doing their best to dig in. Panthers on the move. Need to see if they make a push anywhere. So far doesn't look like it though. Stormtroopers are securing the northern points. Using copious amounts of bullets with the Sturmgewehrs.
Infantry group lost.
Infantry 45 being repaired. And shock troops moving up to stop them. Ah, now they're being armed with PPSHs. I guess the Soviets got enough munitions to think about it. The Badeladung in the way, they just dodge it. Yeah, I'm not sure the Stormtroopers won that fight. Because the shock troopers just, there's so many of them. Lane Corp on the way, very smart. The Russians just gonna run through it. Ooh, but that's actually to the advantage of the Stormtroopers. Yeah, you don't want to run through Blank Corpus. Oh, they do manage to kill one of them though with a Limonka grenade before retreating. But one shock trooper did go down as well. So they still hold the southern flank here the best they can. Fog is now close to the front line to help them reinforce. Another Boy Panzer Sherman taken out. Oh, and Jagdtiger takes out the AT gun. Completely ruining it. Not looking good here for the Soviet Union all of a sudden. Jagdtiger's really driving forwards now. But the Stormtroopers keep getting killed out in the open by a sniper team and these rifle veterans. High explosive has been loaded though. And they're not moving. Yeah, they are all dead. More Soviets rushing to the front line, including several tank hunters. New 100mm being set up.
The enemy has taken out one of our buildings.
Recon team got spotted thanks to the mortars. Countries are rushing forward to just buy some time. Which they are pretty good at doing. They can just buy some time by rushing them in. Throwing 80 grenades at the front. One penetrates! Damaging the exhaust, but all those conscripts that are die there. Just leaving a trail of bodies. 100mm set up. That hit the Jagdtiger though. KV2 pushing up. Panthers could flank it. Taking a shot into the center though. Oh, KV2's in trouble now. His engine is damaged heavily. And there it goes. Not looking good for the Soviet Union there. Lots of good attrition fight going on here. 2 more Boider Panzers coming out for the Panzerjägers. How expensive are they? Where's the building for them? Over here. The Boider Panzers. 270. That's actually fairly cheap. I'm surprised the Boider Panzers are so cheap. Panzerjäger Sturmgrenadiers are moving up. But now the Soviets just keep reinforcing here thanks to the truck. MG42 slowly creeping up though. We do have a machine gun arriving for the Soviets. Taking up position behind down Sherman. And because Kikung is playing his rifle commander, they can just get a lot more manpower to work with. They can just keep up this attrition for now, but the Germans are going to do a big infantry assault. Stormtroopers pushing up here with their Sturmgewehrs. And he is on the flank here with an MG44 and the Boider Panzers gearing up. King Lenkov is being thrown. That's a Veteran C5 Stormtrooper now. That's probably one of the best assault squads in the entire game now. Soviets could just push up here towards the points. They don't know there's not enough to cover them. And here's pushing up close. Throwing at Gewalterladung. They got pinned by Heavy Mono, but the Gewalterladung does go off. Doing a fair amount of damage. Stormtroopers are slowly pushing up though. Taking out the crew with 100mm. And with that, I think the Boiler Panzers should probably make their move. Indeed, they are moving now. Panzers go quickly trying to man the 100mm again. And now the Boiler Panzers are in trouble.
We have lost the defensive structure.
That's one gone. It's trying to get close. High explosive Mattcasting still killed the crew though. Oh, now the Soviets are in trouble again. They need to throw an 80 on that German. Or the Sis could kill it, I guess, but the truck goes out.
The enemy has destroyed one of our vehicles.
The 485 relocating, but there's the Jagdtiger nearby still. Panthers on the move. Need to be cautious with their movements because the 100mm can be a big threat to them. One more Soviets heading towards the center. Germans have lost a lot of units though from previous engagements. Mines being laid quickly here by the shock troopers. What kind of mine was that? Okay, check. Anti-personal mine. Okay, so just very cheap anti-personal mines. But they've laid them around, so that's good to see. The 100mm cannot be reinforced as easily right now. One more conscripts arriving. That's one of the things rifles good at, and just keep churning out men. That was pushing up here, throwing a grenade there on the Hauptsturmführer. Preventing an artillery strike. Houses are firing. Slowly damaging down the German base buildings. But the Germans realize they have to push, I think. As long as they wait, the Soviets are just gonna get more and more anti-tank equipment. And those stormtroopers are doing a lot of work now. That's a lot of Sturmgewehrs. They're making a push. There's like a machine guns on the Soviet front line. Decide to fall back because of the 85. 100mm can open fire though. 85 might be in trouble. Ooh, doesn't penetrate. Oh wait, damn it, never mind. That's one Panther down. Sturm Pioneers here with the MG42 and an MG34. Doing a pretty good job. Another 100mm taken out. Good job with the Jagdtiger there. But the Soviets can just keep up the pressure, just throwing more and more men into the grinder. The Germans have no way of keeping up that manpower drain. Especially against the Soviet rifle commander. They need to push up. They cannot just stay back and slowly pinch at them. They need to find a way to push through. As hard as it is to say, that's one of the few ways they can fight here. The Soviets are just going to keep pulling men onto the battlefield. I'm supposed to be loaded here by the Jagdtiger, good to see. The Soviets do pull back. The machine gun has been cleared. Oh! 100mm penetrated. Smoke popped. They'll do his best to try and crawl back. More 85s arriving now for the shock army. Panthers quickly rushing up. Risky maneuver, I think. But a good shot there. Ooh, that Panthers pushing up pretty far. They take out 185 and the 100mm was not pointed at it. Veteran 85 is still around. The Soviets still need to see if they can take that munitions point if possible, because that would really help them. Because they're only one munitions off having the same income as the Waffen SS. And 100mm is doing its best here.
We need orders.
E4 firing. Oh! Right hit the front line too. We have a lot of artillery strikes being prepared here by the Jaegers. There's a shock engineer nearby. So it's gonna try and deny it the best they can. Not that easy to do. E4 cleared out the German attack force there.
Forward elements report an infantry unit lost.
So they are taking heavy losses, but they can keep up this attrition, as I've said before.
E-34 ready for combat. Prepare to execute.
Germans actually think are feeling probably a little exhausted at this point. They wasted a lot of men and vehicles on this.
Combat unit ready.
More Sabbath surviving for the Soviet Union. More machine guns surviving as well. Just look at everything Kigerung has. That's the power of Rifle Commander, everyone. You can just have so many units on the field. Not a lot of tanks at the moment, just a lot of field fortifications and infantry to just push up. Although Kigerung is almost... No, they are playing with 250 pop cap, so... Kigerung can still field a lot, but their income is getting very, very low. Because of all these heavy emplacements they're setting up. As the emplacements do have a little bit of an upkeep. Same with heavy vehicles after all. Gonna do for a long range shot there. Is just trying to take out the 100mm again like last time. Is it time to push you up, potentially? That's a lot of Soviets coming our way. They take out the crew of that one. So they're constantly decide to pull back briefly. Until going in towards the center here. Didn't do much. Germans pushing up the best they can with their machine gun support. Several Russians are dying, so they are doing something. So they're being called by the Hauptsturmführer. Probably around here. And for creeping up a little bit again. So there's a re-grab the 100mm. Artillery is coming in. Here it comes. You can hear it, there it goes. And the Jagdtiger is just holding on here. He needs to see if they can take out the gun itself, which is not that easy to do, actually. Another pack arriving. More artillery going in as well. They just want to keep denying it. 85mm arriving, but the Jagdtiger can just take a shot at that. Looks like it might have missed. 80 gun taken out by the artillery. 2 tank hunters coming up here to try and take out the Jagdtiger. That's a very risky maneuver. Trying to use Capture Panzerfaust, which do penetrate actually. Shock troops are pushing through the center though with sappers and machine guns. Shock engineers pushing up. The Germans are trying to set up a flak position. They realize they're just losing ground now.
One of our forward structures has been destroyed.
This is slowly creeping up as well. And the B4 could fire again. The Germans do their best, but it is slowly being crept back now. They had a very good early and mid game, I think. But now the Soviets have just gotten into gear. And once the Soviet steamroller gets going, it's very hard to stop it. Now the Soviet steamroller is just it's just a term I've always used for like Soviet and Russian themed factions that essentially have this effect that once they get going, they are very hard to stop. Which really fits the Soviets for Spearhead. That's how the Soviets were in World War II. Once the Soviets really got going, it was just no stopping them. Germans are trying to push up here with their stormtroopers. Rushing through the smoke. Going into a Duska position. They're throwing Gebaldeladnungs. Can take out the AT guns evidently. Did some work. Yahtzee gets repaired again. So just keep up the pressure, pulling more and more men onto the battlefields. We do have an observation vehicle arriving here for the Panzerjägers. We also have this infrared searchlight, which I completely missed. Although we have seen the effect of it on the battlefield, they just didn't mention it. Which allows the Germans to see what's going on around the front line. And I think the searchlight hits. Let's see if we can actually get the effect here. It actually only shows on the minimap now, so you can see the minimap where the Germans can now see where the Soviets are. So it's not really the best unit, I'd say. They could do a lot more, in my opinion. Oh, it's not looking good for the Germans here. So it's prepared to do more damage on the flanks. Or Storm Pioneers being called in. Time for relocating quick. Wants to try and stop that 85. But the Soviets are actually lacking in shock troopers, so infantry to just push with. They are getting more shock troopers though. They also have a major presence here serving up with a frontline station to where units can be treated to. So let's just keep up the pressure here. Was the B4 did fire, I just completely missed it. It's got 44 kills actually, not bad. Machine guns moving into the Storm Grenadiers, they try to push up. 100 millimeters taking shots, that's just scissors actually. But a 100 can hit here! 2 100s can! Look at all the deflection damage they've done. Total machine guns here for the Germans. Just trying to overrun with fuselage of firepower. Which are pinning the the Soviets I mean. But the Soviets are just dug in. More Volkanskis running onto the front line. And the German machine guns decide to pull back. The Jagdsiegen needs repairs immediately. Stormtroopers and Stormtroopers having a fight in the smoke, throwing grenades at each other. What a brutal engagement that must be like in the forest. I think the Stormtroopers win that fight. Those SVTs are just too good. Observation tank down. Observation vehicle rather. Officers decide to run off the battlefield so they can get a little bit of a new vehicle at some point. '85's also arriving still for the Soviets. So we still have not taken that munitions point. Panther still keeping an eye on them. And they now have a fortified flag position to hold the center. 85 took a little bit of a cheeky long range shot there. No penetration yet. Shock troopers are getting shot by the flag. That's gonna force them to run back. So it's just a lot of artillery still. Using all their field guns as artillery pieces and similar. Artillery being called here by the Hauptsturmführer. They're trying to apply all the pressure they can on the Soviets, which is certainly not as easy as it sounds. Needs to see if the Soviets do anything more to push. Germans certainly looks like they're running a little bit out of steam. Oh, looks like the Germans decide to call it the GG because of the stalemate. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this one in the forest, and I'll see you on the next one, everyone. Bye bye.